actually no possible way, but there usually is.
Right.
There usually is. So I do a backup like this. Now, I mean, obviously my.
Want me to climb for you?
Yeah, you could be on my.
Want to belay me up?
Yep.
You want a helmet, Steve?
He's not
This is a
got
new
it
style
now.
helmet. It's the trucker helmet.
My skull is really thick,
This anchor
obviously.
very rarely will be this far away from your climber, but there are occasions on a couple of routes south of Windward Spire.
I don't want
where there's a
this.
bit
I
of a
want that.
scramble
Oh, I guess you're on.
before the climb starts.
Top rope,
so
so
the anchors. This
not
is
leading.
kind of a long ways away from your climbing.
So normally this.
Sorry, I have a small head.
Normally I would be going right to his rope, but since we're in a top rope setup and he's not really leading, he's top roped, so it's slightly different.
Down?
So I'm gonna set up my belay.
Belay? Climbing?
Climb on.
Are you locked?
You gonna do it on unannounced fall?
Nope.
Got him.
Got him.
Don't climb faster than your belayer can belay.
Speed belay.
Like I said, don't climb faster than your belayer can belay.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of stretch.
That's called
in it.
ducking.
Next slide.
I didn't see
I'm getting fucked with.
That?
He's climbing too fast. I couldn't go that fast. I was trying to catch up. All right, so he falls. I got him. All right. All right. This is where you need to. So obviously, his weight. It would be even more so if he was on a piece of pro, since we got a lot extra here. But obviously the rope went in 2 exact straight lines between the points. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull my brake hand back through the beaner like this, right? I'm gonna put a twist in it. I'm gonna do it this way.
Never let go of the brake hand.
So I've got my brake hand right here. It's got an extra bend. It's coming through the beaner. Now I'm gonna put this through here, and what I'm doing is I'm tying a slip knot, or a mule knot, if you will. And I'm gonna cinch it all the way down through to the device like this. You see that?
So what did you actually do? Because your hand was
Yeah, we
like
couldn't
locking
see
in.
how you did that.
Hold on, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay. So just slip it through your beaner.
Press it.
So I'm pulling
Oh, I
it back
see.
through,
Gotcha. Okay.
bringing it back through like this. I'm gonna go take a bite, put a twist in it, go around the rope, and then back through like this. And I'm pulling. I'm basically tying a slip knot here, and I'm cinching it all the way down to the device. Okay.
That's locked off now.
Yeah.
It's basically locked off. Now I'm gonna bring this up here and tie an overhand. This is called the mule knot. This setup right here is called the mule knot. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dress this knot
Because it's used
to make
tying
it
up-
smooth like
tying
that.
up mules.
And now I'm hands free. So he can basically be totally hanging. I'm hands free now. If I want to back this up, I can throw a carabiner in there, just like this. All right? Now I'm hands free.
But you're still in the system.
Yep. So now, is this gonna work on top rope?
Yeah, it'll work on
Yeah.
top rope.
Oh, you just
All right. So now, okay, never mind. All
He's hanging from
right.
a
So
piece
now,
of rope.
check this out.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, he's unconscious. First thing you do is you try to make communication with the climber.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Hey,
up there?
Steve, what happened up there? Hello?
I think I slipped on something.
Broke your thingamajigger?
That makes it look
Broke
like
my
you got a
phone, man.
big old fat ass on you, Steve. Look at that.
That's some sexy ass right there. Boing. All right, so next step. I'm tied off. I'm hands free. Next step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a hero loop prusik on right here. All right, 3 wraps. I can bring it down here, and I'm gonna take
down. I'm paralyzed with fear.
a locker.
He's falling. You can't
All
get
right,
up.
Please go get help.
Take a locker right here. What? Does that
I
look
thought
like?
that was frayed.
No, it's just tape.
Just electrical tape.
Nope, no
folded
frame.
together.
All right, so now I'm gonna take the rope. You got 2 ropes here. One's coming out of the device. One's coming from my backup right here. So I'm gonna take the rope that's coming here, and I'm gonna tie a moonter. Take the moonter, and I'm gonna clip it through right here. Boom. All right. Now this is called a moonter mule. I'm gonna do the same system I did here, except upside down. So I got my moonter mule.
You got a moonter. Now you're tying a mule.
Moonter, and now I'm tying a mule. So I'm gonna wrap the loop around there, and tie the slip knot again, and pull a little bit of extra slack through. There's my slip knot, right? So this one feeds back and forth, right? So I can change the size of my slip knot, and then this is going to tighten the mule knot, right? So now I'm going to pull out a little bit of slack, and I'm going to tie the other part of the mule, the overhand. Boom, right there. Now I want to push this prusik up as far as I possibly can. Make sure it's tight. All right? Now that's my second munter mule. Now, what I'm going to do is take another locker, and I'm going to go back to the master point here. Put a locker in the master point. Now I'm taking, this is ultimately going to be a third munter mule.
Could you do a quick recap? So like at this point, first you locked off your first belay.
So recap.
Speak louder.
So you locked off your first belay, and then this is basically taking the load of the rope
I'm-
away from you.
I'll get to that. Yep.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's a checklist of wants. You want to make it so that you're not one hand locked on there as a brake hand, and then you want to start
Free your hand.
removing yourself from being
Right.
the blade.
Free yourself
So
from the system.
he's working on setting up a second belay system, and then removing himself from the system.
Basically what I'm going to do is transfer the load onto the prusik. So I've got this munter mule set up, put my hero loop on, second munter mule set up, put another locker into the master point, and now I'm going to go off of this. This is ultimately going to be a third munter mule, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a munter in here for now. Munter only. And rope management is key in this. You don't want to get any of this stuff confused. Crossed over, exactly.
But you will.
Isn't there like a sequence like
I know.
You most likely will.
That's
Now I don't
that's
want.
a disaster waiting.
Listen up. Listen up. Listen up. Shh. I don't want to get these ropes confused because I've got the little bit of slack here between my tie-in and my backup, and then I've got this right in the middle of it. And I don't want to pull all the slack. I don't want to pull this hella tight. I'm just going to hold this, and this is going to become my brake hand. Okay? So now I'm going to basically keep my hand on this. Some of this you might have to do one-handed. But I'm
keeping the brake hand.
I'm going to keep my hand right here just in case something slips.
Wait.
Are you waiting?
Huh?
I'm gonna get me on the pressure first.
That's what I'm about to do.
Are you?
Yeah. Yep. So now I untie the overhand.
I'm waiting it.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
Untie the overhand, and I'm finding out which strand here is the brake strand. This is the brake strand, so this is the slack. Now as I pull this slack back through, I can also pull it here. See that? It's going back through the beaner down to this munter until I get to the point where this is about to pull out. Okay? That's hilarious. So now I get it to this, and I can just pop it.
Pop it.
I'm actually going to let go of this for just a split second, or maybe just hold it in this hand, and I'm going to pop this all the way through like that. This becomes my brake. So now I'm on the brake, and I still have this munter in my hand right here, so I'm pulling up the slack from this munter slightly. And now you're gonna lower down just a little bit, Steve, all right?
Not much.
So I'm gonna let a little bit through this munter right here,
Yeah, I'm solid, dude.
and it's transferring the load onto the prusik, see?
I dropped
And
my
now I've got slack right here.
So all his weight is on this instead of being on Nick.
Just transfer the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm just transferring. Now I've got enough slack in my line to escape the system. I'm still keeping my hand on this munter mule, right, or this munter right here, because that's the new brake hand. So now I can pop. I'm out of the system. Now I can tighten this back up, okay?
Uh-huh.
Now,
Just relying on the
I'm gonna tighten this munter back up like this.
Right on.
Go ahead and tie it off.
wonder.
You think we're done? But we're not.
Yep. So now, I'm completely out of the system. But, let's say I'm on the third pitch, right? And I gotta go. So I'm gonna tie this off. Let's finish this before I move on. Tie this off. Boom, right there.
So it's Moonter, Mule. Moonter
Yeah.
and Mule. Those are the two knots.
Yep.
It's a combo knot. So you'll hear people say
Down and
Moonter, Mule, like it's
No, this is
one
close.
knot.
That's
It's
close.
two
That's
knots
close.
together.
This is my tie-in. All right, so now I'm still in the system. Say I'm on the third pitch and I've got to go for help. There's no other choice because we're the only two out here. We're in the middle of an alpine route or even a sport route and there's no one else around. I've got to go for help. So I need every piece of gear that I can possibly afford to bring with me. So now I'm going to go ahead. I've been loaded on the prusik, but now I've got this munter mule. I'm going to untie this munter mule. This is the brake hand right here, and I'm going to pull this loop through until it's ready, and then pop it. Right here. And now I'm going to slowly, you're going to lower down just a little bit more, Steve.
Okay.
So now I'm transferring the load back onto the anchor off of the prusik. Slowly release that munter. Now the load is completely on the anchor now from my master point that I put in here, all right?
I dropped an inch or two is all.
Yep.
Right.
And so now I'm able to take all this gear. If I need to go down the mountain, I can take it all with me. Got that.
Transfer everything to your.
Slap everything on there. I can leave that. And now, if I'm going to rappel or whatever, I can take off one of my PAs or whatever. I can PA into the shelf or even probably the shelf over the master point. And now I'm PA'd in here. I can completely untie from the system, which means
You just free solo all the other pitches, or
yeah, just listen.
You get your cup.
Now I can take this locker in case I need it down below somewhere. I can untie this back up. Untie that completely. And now he's entirely resting on this munter mule on the anchor on the master point right here. I'm locked. Now if I want to do a secondary backup, I can tie another figure eight on a bite here. Burn one more locker. Make sure it's on the shelf here. So all I'm gonna leave here is two lockers. I can even take this beaner or leave it. I don't even give a fuck. So this is so if I needed to, I can cut this rope to go down the mountain with, because I've got all this extra rope, right? I'm already safe. If I need to untie and make a rappel, pull out my Yosemite finish.
But let's say you don't.
So
I don't.
a downside to
Think I
cutting
would-
the rope.
It's not
Let's say
necessarily.
You didn't want to cut the rope because I'm still up here and you need to
Yeah,
lower.
you have to
but you
lay him
can't.
So at
down.
least don't cut all the rope.
that would be unfortunate.
If I
I
have
don't care. I got a dental
let's say-
appointment.
if I have to.
Let's say
Worst
you
case
went-
scenario.
You went down the mountain, you got medical help, they've got a leader. Now
So-
you need to get me down
So
to
if the rescuer comes back up, rescuer sees the system, they're like, okay, great, I know exactly what I'm dealing with right here. Pop out the backup.
Get your gear, don't forget your gear.
So now the backup's out. Now I can untie this, untie my overhand. Got my loop here.
So
Straight-
here's the danger part. You want to pull in line
Pull it
with
like
the
that.
rope, because you
And there
guys
we
are gonna
go.
be dangling from there.
Lowering?
Now he's on a munter, and I can lowering, Steve.
Yep.
Now as the rescuer, I can just lower
Down to that.
if that's the chosen method.
So when you pop it into the brake position.
Yeah, absolutely.
In
Which
line
and
with
the
the
brake position is up,
Yeah.
always on a munter. It's up. The more bends you have in any belay system, the more friction you're gonna have. So I have technically one bend here, another bend here, and this is technically 3 bends right here. There you go, Steve. But I've got 3 bends here, so there's a shit ton of friction.
Yeah. Just gotta remember
And
it's
that's-
reverse from your device.
And that's the Belay Escape.
Okay, pass or fail. Let's do this.
Yeah, one shot only.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got 4 ropes, 2 people.